Hey everybody, Scott Hollingsworth here, and I would like to welcome you to our first episode of the Ignite Hangout series. As always, I'm joined by Gabe Cordova from Firepoint. He's our host, and Gabe, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about what we're going to be covering today and introduce them to our guest?
Yeah, I'd love to. So thanks everybody. Gabe Cordova here with the account management team at Firepoint. Ignite is something we want to bring to you once a month where we're talking with different guests, whether it's going to be a coach like what we have today, whether it's a top producing agent, a team lead, anybody that we think can come in, help you get the most out of your Firepoint system, convert leads better, just utilize the system to its fullest potential. And at the end of the day, just convert the leads and make a living, which is why we're all here and why we all signed up for this crazy business. So for the first one, I'm thrilled to be able to introduce Bob Corcoran with Corcoran Coaching and Consulting. Here he is. We met Bob last year. Known about Bob for a while, but actually met him last year at a conference in San Diego, and we started coaching with him. Shortly after that, when I was still in real estate with my company, and just was amazed. His head's going to swell here in a minute, but was amazed by how much insight and scripting and training and coaching, everything he could bring to us. So thrilled to have him as our first guest. Bob, if you want to say hello, maybe talk a little bit about who you are and the couple of years maybe you've been doing this.
Yeah, excellent. Thanks, Gabe. It's really exciting to be here. As a consultant in the real estate industry for the last 28 years, I pretty much have seen it all. And what excites me about, Ignite and what you're doing for your clients is what every technology company should be doing. I think the biggest, when we look at technology, we know it changes every 15 minutes. And, when as being a consultant in the real estate industry, I get inundated daily from technology companies who say, "Oh, Bob, will you endorse my product?" And I might endorse maybe 1 out of 100. Okay, for the simple reason is the customer service aspect, and really, what is the bandwidth of the technology? Is it going to replace multiple technologies as well? And when I first met Chris, at a conference, and I specifically went to this conference to meet with Chris so I could get a hands-on overview, from the guy that really conceptualized it and put it into action. I got to tell you, I was blown away. Doesn't happen too often when I hear about his vision. And then Gabe, to me, as you well know, the biggest part of any technology company is the back-end customer service that these technology companies are providing for their clients. There are not a lot of technology companies out there that have a vested interest in their customer care. And so I really got excited when you came on board, as director of client services and training the people to help your end user. It has always been the missing link in the technology world, and I know that Firepoint is only at the beginning of what is going to be an explosive growth. Okay, and so what I'm excited most, Gabe, about today's Hangout is, you get to answer the questions from an outside perspective, and that's what I look forward to participating with you in the Hangout.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. And that's that's been really important to us to have a system that's really being built for agents and lenders by agents, by people in the industry. And so far, we've been really fortunate and focused on making sure everybody you're talking to, especially on my team so far, has real estate experience. We want to be able to talk to you from a point of, been there, done that, not just somebody who knows how to tell you what button to push to click in the system to make something happen. We want to make sure there's the why and the how behind that. So yeah, thanks, Bob. I appreciate that. We're really excited from the point of Firepoint to be able to offer that to our clients and just really help them get the most out of the system.
Excellent.
I'm going to jump back in here, guys, real quick before you get into the content and just let everybody know that this is a live interactive Hangout. So there is a Q&A app available. If you have any questions for Bob or Gabe throughout the Hangout, go ahead and submit those to the Q&A app, and we'll make sure they get answered live on air.
Awesome.
Perfect. So, Bob, I guess I kind of want to jump in a little bit. And I mean, how long have you been doing this, coaching real estate?
28 years. Got started in the team environment. It was my first introduction, to real estate, and over the 28 years to really see how these teams are growing has been really an amazing experience.
Awesome. So, I mean, you've seen a lot of changes in real estate, obviously, and I guess something that that I hear and people are wondering is like, why should teams have a system to use like Firepoint, a place to put their leads and follow up and do all that? So I mean, what have you seen over the years and where it's helped in the industry?
Well, what excites me most about Firepoint, and the number one complaints I've seen from my clients, especially, in the technology boom in the real estate, let's say over the last 10 years, okay, has really been, I have all of these systems. Heck, I can't remember all of the logins, all of the passwords, and there's so many different systems that I have to have. The thing, what I love about a system like Firepoint is it eliminates, 4 or 5 other products out there. And so not only am I looking at it for ease of a system, but I'm also looking for my return on investment. So if I can eliminate $4,000 a month because I don't need these other products, and I can bring on a product like Firepoint, number one, I've taken away the excuses of most team members as to why they don't use the technology to its fullest. So what Firepoint, in my opinion, has done is taken away agents' excuses of why they can't perform, because now they have one system with one dashboard that tells them what to do every day. All you got to do is know how to log in and know how to work around the dashboard within Firepoint. So, I mean, from that perspective, if that was the only thing Firepoint did, man, they do it the best, then you win.
Perfect. And I guess for those of you tuning in, agents and stuff that have never met Bob or coached with him, he's not going to sugarcoat a whole lot. So he's just going to tell you how it is and what's an excuse. So, and that's one thing that I've learned over the years when I had teams, and I had several teams going at one point, was when we can get everything happening in one spot. When you've got Firepoint and your leads are coming into one spot, your drip campaigns are in one spot, your task lists are in one spot. You have the built-in dialer, so that's in one spot. Recording your calls, logging those calls so that they're all in the history. Accountability from a team lead standpoint or a coach. I mean, when we were using it in our real estate company, we just gave Bob a login to our system so he could log in and see what's going on. And it did. It just centralized everything to where when I pulled up a lead, I can see, what's the lender saying, what's the lender doing with us, what's the ISA doing, what's the agent doing, and then have Bob come in and say, why aren't you doing? Why am I seeing time to first action so long? Because we all know that how we process leads, I think, or how we processed leads 10, 15 years ago is completely different than how we're doing it now, because everybody's online, everybody's starting. So I think, to me, that's why it's critical to have a system like this and understand how to use it and leverage it to its fullest potential to get that conversion and that ROI that Bob's talking about. So that's great. And I guess let's talk about online leads and stuff. I mean, what should agents expect? I mean, before, Bob, it was pretty much people probably calling from newspaper ads, magazines, the paper, whatever. But when it comes to online lead gen, what should people be expecting when they're getting these leads? We have a lot of people that are just starting to build their teams or individual agents using Firepoint. When it comes to online leads, what should the agents be expecting as far as to get when they say, okay, I'm going to sign up for $500 of PPC this month? What should they expect?
Well, it all comes down to return on investment. What I expect my clients to see is a 6 to 8 to 1 return on investment. So every every dollar I spend, I want to see a $6 ROI minimum. And we have to, when we look at online lead gen, okay, the easiest way to generate leads in the real estate business is online. But are we really in the lead generation business? Shouldn't we be more in the lead conversion and lead management market? And so I don't give a crap how many leads that an agent is generating, because you can generate a boatload of leads. At the end of the day, it's all about conversion rate. And so I think it comes down to the size of the team. One of the biggest questions I consistently get asked is, well, how many leads do I need a month per agent on my team?
Right.
Well, it all comes down to I've gone the gambit from 10 leads a month to 100 leads a month, and the number that keeps coming back is 25 leads a month per agent. I'd be looking, when you read all the documents on online lead registration across all industries, all these experts say, you're going to expect a less than 1% return on investment. Well, I need people to stop listening to the people who don't know what the heck they're talking about, because you're reading reports that are based on online lead gen across all industries. Well, let's get our focus down to real estate specific. Come on, ladies and gentlemen, the people that are online looking for a house is a warm lead. You know, I use the rule of thumb for our clients. I expect to see a minimum of a 2%. Okay, conversion rate on lead gen. And I think all across our clients that I personally coach, you know, we're achieving really close to the 2%, upwards of 6%. So the whole key is it's based on the number of leads I'm generating. So, you know, when we have clients that are where online lead gen makes up 64% of their monthly, you know, lead generation. So, and I'm talking, you know, teams that are generating 600, 700, 800 leads online in a month.
Right. So I think you hit something key though at the very beginning was it's not even so much about lead gen, it's about lead follow-up and conversion. So just kind of setting expectations again, because we do have a lot of people just starting PPC for the first time. You're saying 25 leads a month per agent, you know, to do business. Is that to average a certain amount of sales a month? Have you noticed, is that like probably 2 sales a month? What are you seeing with 25 raw leads a month on average?
One thing that, Gabe, you know, the one thing that I've seen all these years is, you know, there's a lot of different systems. You know, generally the home buying public, okay, starts 12 to 24 months before they want to buy a house. They start looking online, okay? Right. And so our responsibility as a real estate company with a system like Firepoint is to incubate that lead by sending the people, you know, consistent touches on email. Now, if you're only sending, I despise these email drips with information. Oh, to me it's spam. To me it's clutter. What gets a buyer off the fence are properties, period. Right. Okay, and you know, when we look at a system, why systems like Firepoint are so valuable is because 80% of all sales are going to come on the 5th to 12th contact. So when we look at initial lead gen, that online lead comes in, ladies and gentlemen, if they give you a phone number, they're giving you permission to call them. So pick up the phone and call them.
We're not searching for that number. When that comes in, those leads are providing that phone number.
Okay, and I'm saying call them. You know, we have a phone number.
How quickly? How soon should we be calling? I mean, some of these people are just starting this.
Well, to me, if you're just starting, it depends on how busy you are in your practice. Right. Most real estate agents, if I look at the average realtor in America last year, sold 4.8 houses. I think as soon as the lead pops in, they should be able to call the lead immediately. Absolutely. Our goal with all of our clients, Gabe, is to call any lead that comes in, no matter what it is, within 10 minutes. Okay. That is our goal, is to call them within 10 minutes because I know I have an 85% to 90% chance of connecting with the lead if I'm that urgent about it.
Right. And honestly, I mean, and like you said, you mentioned out that the online buyers, they're starting 5, 12 months. You know, we were tracking those numbers. It was amazing. In 2015, we had hundreds of online buyers that registered online, hundreds of sales that were just AdWords PPC leads. And we were astonished when we really looked at those numbers that it was between 50 and 60 of those 300 or 400 of just the AdWords, 50 or 60 of them had registered 2 years prior on the website, and they're just on there. So when you have Firepoint, you can see when they're logging on. You know, if they want to remain anonymous, they're going to remain anonymous until they're ready to bubble up. And we learned early that as long as they're still logging on, keep following up. And as long as you stay in front of them, when they're ready, they're going to reach out. You just can't do that 1, 2, 3 phone calls early on and go, that's a terrible lead. You know, we're not going to convert. If you have Firepoint and you're watching when they're logging on, you're looking at the properties that they're looking at, you know, you can tailor your phone calls. You know what areas they're looking at. So I'm just calling and, you know, saying something like, oh, let's go look at homes. You know, hey, Bob, you know, I see you're looking in the greater, you know, Denver area. You know, in this particular neighborhood. I mean, you can really tailor it, but you got to stay in front of them. You just can't give up. That's not online leads. These are not, you know, people that are walking into your office or an open house. These people need a little bit more, I guess, love for longer periods, right?
Well, and again, you know, we say that, you know, these people that are starting out online, a majority of them are going to be out there 12 to 24 months. Right. So I think I don't want that statistic that I said to not be mentioned again, but 80% of sales are going to come on the 5th to 12th contact. So because we can generate thousands of online leads, how do we manage that? And everything comes down to a system, Gabe. Okay, and for our clients, what we use is every agent on a team should have their top 100 leads that they will commit to calling once a month. I don't care if the person's 12 months out. It's about relationship building. And, to me, in my top 100 are going to be in that. Who's going to be in that list are people I've already had a great conversation with.
Right.
Also, let's be a little selective in price point. We get all these online leads, and so here's a pearl: prospect with intent. I have all these hundreds of leads coming in a month. We have people in the marketplace, Gabe, that might be looking at $150,000 leads and $500,000 leads. Well, most agents start at the top of a list and just phone down. I'm like, ladies and gentlemen, prospect with intent, sort your list by price point first and call the highest price leads first.
Right, right.
So, but the top 100, every agent needs, or whatever number you're comfortable with. I pick the top 100 because you got to pick a number that's realistic. And I say, can you call 5 people 5 days a week, 4 weeks a month? That equals 100.
Right.
So these are people you're just touching base, staying in touch, fine-tuning their criteria. When they're ready to move, they'll tell you. Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, and I was going to show you, and I'll make if we can do this without messing anything up. But so, I mean, when you have the right systems, I'll just do a quick screen share. Is you should be able to, so I'm on here with our leads database. You can sort it by last login. So if I want to prospect with intent, if I want to go by last login, I can just simply go less than a minute ago, 13 minutes ago, 2 hours. These people were just on thinking about real estate. I can go with Bob's suggestion, sort by average search price. And boom, now I've got my highest price point people. I can see when they logged on last, and it's allowing you to prospect with intent, basically just what Bob was saying. So when you have the right tools that are available, it makes it really easy with just a couple quick clicks to be able to do that. So.
Wow, that's impressive, Gabe. I'm like, give me that person that's looking for the $14.4 million. But a lot of people want to pass that up because they don't have the confidence level that they can sell a $14 million house.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
So if you think that, you're probably right.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just writing out the tools, and it's that mindset I think is key, because we have people that when they log on, when agents start the system, they get those leads, or when they first start with PPC, well, I called twice, or that Zillow lead came in, they wanted a showing, so I called them, but they never answered. So we see it over and over. They don't call back. So you've got to realize that these people, you're not hounding them. They reached out to us. They provided us their phone number. So we can definitely
Oh, I quite frankly disagree with you. Yeah, I'm going to hound you. I'm going to hound you. Okay. I'm going to call. If you give me a phone number and I call you and I get voicemail, I'm not leaving a voicemail. I'm hanging up, and then I'm blocking my number and calling you back. If I get voicemail again, then I'm going to text you. So I think the question I always get is, how often should I call these people?
Right. Well, that's my next question, actually, is how often should we be following up with these new registrations? That was my next question for you.
Until I get a hold of them. I think if you think about what I do, if I call that person back and I get voicemail, most people don't know what voicemail. Most agents get into diarrhea of the mouth, and they go, "Oh, I see you're looking in this area, and you're looking for homes at $300,000. Oh, I got the ideal home. Blah blah blah." Okay, the thing is, we need to talk to the people. Okay, and so that's why I'm saying what we instruct our clients: the first 2 times you are calling a new lead back, do not leave a voicemail message.
I agree 100%. Every time I'm training a new Firepoint client, we get to logging calls, I make that recommendation. I promise you, if you stop leaving a voicemail on that first call, you're going to be shocked how many callbacks you get.
Right, and so what we've now added, and we've had great success with our clients, after the first 2 times, within an hour of calling that new lead back, if you get voicemail, simply text the person. And here is the #1 text that will help you get a reply, is you text that same number, because most of the time, if we look at it, what I think the last number I heard was 85 or 90%, Gabe, of buyers are using mobile devices when they're searching sites.
Yeah, I think it's way up there. Way
right.
Up there.
So let's just go on the presumption that the phone number I have is a cell number.
Right.
Okay? And so I'm texting, and my text message is, "Hi there." That's all I'm texting is, "Hi there." And the #1 reply I'm going to get back, which I want, "Who's this?"
Who's this? So can I throw out what we're doing, just to give you another one?
Please.
So one that we started doing, instead of "Hi there," we started with that, is normally the leads come in with some sort of name. So the name comes in, Bob Corcoran, we have a number. We don't leave the voicemail on the first one. Our first text is this Bob? Just question mark. Because now we know who they are. So instead of them saying, "Who is this?" they're responding saying, "It is. Who is this?"
Very good.
I can put in my system correct phone number, correct name. Now I know I've got the right name with the right number. So we loved using is this Bob? That's it. Just
Yep.
simple, but now they're confirming we have the right person and asking who is this.
I'm also confirming I have a smartphone and I have somebody that does text.
Right.
And more importantly, I have a working phone number.
Right. Absolutely.
Wow, is there power behind that? And the whole goal is to get these people to reach out to you, because in my lifetime, real estate will always be an ear-to-ear, belly-to-belly business.
Right.
Okay? And there aren't too many homes I can sell without an appointment or without meeting somebody. Even if I'm meeting somebody on Skype, for example. Okay, and I have clients that list homes just based because they're in second home markets. They're listing off of Skype or FaceTime or something like that. So it does go down to Gabe, but we instruct 2 phone calls with voicemail, hang up, 3rd time text.
Is this day one? Is this day one still?
Oh God, this is hour one.
This is what I want to make clear to people, because I think again people are not understanding that.
This is hour one.
Perfect. I love it.
I always look, and I think that, if we look at it, it comes down to is how many leads are we generating and how big is the team? Can the team really handle the lead volume they have? If they cannot handle the lead volume that they're getting, maybe they're paying too much on pay-per-click.
Right. Well, and when you're talking 25 leads, that's not just online leads. You're talking IVR, sign calls, any of that stuff, right?
Absolutely, and there's usually a good mix, but I also know that probably 50% of those leads are going to be generated online.
Right.
50 to 60% of most online real estate leads being generated, I'd say the average is probably 55 to 60% are going to be online, and that number is only going to grow.
Right. I was chatting with a Zillow rep the other day. They were calling in asking questions about Firepoint and stuff because they have clients switching over because they're saving so much money to be able to buy more lead gen for Zillow instead of spending it on platforms. Asking questions, but I turned the tables and was asking because I don't know if you knew they have like an ISA program where you can hire them now to call the Zillow leads for you. They're calling 8 times the first day. The day that lead comes in, they're calling 8 times. So don't think that they don't believe in how many times you need to reach out to people in order. And that's a combination, I shouldn't say calling 8 times, reaching out 8 times, a combination of calls, texts, and emails, day one or in the first 24 hours. It's that important. And I know a lot of people listening and watching this, it's hard to comprehend that. And I just, you know it, I know it, everybody who's been doing this knows it, but you have to get over that hurdle of feeling like you're pestering or calling too much, because I'm guessing you'd agree, you're going to lose more leads by not reaching out multiple times than you will by reaching out too many times.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, when do you stop calling somebody? When they tell you to.
Yeah.
And then you simply just leave them in an email drip system with notes, copious notes. And I think the other thing is on leads is really, ladies and gentlemen, please make sure you are keeping copious notes in the lead section there to know that, hey, if if no one answered, put in there no NA, no answer. Okay, texted. Let's update the system so that you can keep track of it, because it's a numbers game.
Well, and you're going to forget. You're getting all these leads. So when you get the voicemail, don't just say left voicemail or didn't leave. Say voicemail, male voice, or voicemail said it was Bob. No, so the next time you come, you're prospecting with more intent and knowledge of what's going on. So
totally, the more information. Also, if I'm talking to a lead, what was the gist of the conversation? You don't need to write down verbatim.
Right. Well, in Firepoint, you can just record the whole call, Bob.
I was just going to say, wait a minute, I can record the call. Can I attach that recording to that lead then?
It's automatically in the history. As soon as you hang up, the recording's already in there. You push a button, you listen to it, your coach listens to it, your team lead listens to it, whoever.
But the issue is when I go to call that person back, no one in their right mind is going to listen to that previous conversation.
No, you can make notes with it. You can add notes to it.
Yeah, and I'm going to say, I'm going to take the notes of just the highlights. They were taking their son to the hospital, he broke his leg. Well,
Absolutely.
Damn, that's an important note to put in there. So I'd call you up next month and I'd say, hey, Gabe, how's your son's leg?
Right. Yep,
they're going,
absolutely.
Oh my God, Bob remembers that. He's great.
I agree. Well, hey, and I know we're running out of time. I can't believe we've already had almost 30 minutes here, Scott. But Bob, you and I were chatting about this one day. Best times to call. I think, you and I talked about DPA and doing the right things and prospecting with intent. DPA is dollar productive activities for those of you who don't coach with Bob or somebody. But make sure you're doing the right things, but best times to call. Are there better times than others? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, the question is, what is the best time to call? And I always say always and often. Okay, as a real estate agent, it depends on I know we have a lot of different listeners. They have different team models.
Right.
We even have sole practitioners. But in real estate, a real estate agent gets paid to do four things: list, prospect, sell, and negotiate. Those are the only $4 productive activities an agent has. If I have buyer agents listening to today's call, they only have $3 productive activities: prospect, sell, and negotiate. So our teams do a morning huddle every day, and it lasts about 15 minutes. The purpose of the huddle is, what happened to the leads you got yesterday? How many appointments did you set? And what real estate appointments do you have today? And so my mindset is, Gabe, if you have no real estate appointments today and you're a buyer agent on my team, I expect you to be on the phone prospecting or doing lead follow-up 5 hours today.
Okay.
And so what it comes down to is, if I look at the most prolific time, when I look at millions of leads, okay, that we have tracked that come in online, the number one hour for online lead registrations, Sunday through Saturday, is from 4 to 5 p.m.
So basically when they're getting tired at work and they don't want to work anymore, they're thinking real estate.
Yeah, and their boss thinks they're working. Look, they're slaving away at their computer and they're looking at houses. But 4 to 5 is the number one online lead registration time. If I look at, for example, IVR systems, it's usually going to be between 5 and 7 p.m. Okay, so and also, okay, more online lead registration is done Monday through Friday than on Saturdays and Sundays. So if I'm going to prospect, I want to make sure I'm really putting into Monday through Friday. Okay, when I look at prospecting, I want to be able to make one dial and have one contact. The most prolific hour for prospecting and reaching a lead where they'll talk to you is 7:15 to 8:15 p.m., except for in luxury or second home markets. Second home markets you got to do before noon because people are at the bar by noon. Okay, but you look at that, and I got clients that work in the second home market. But realistically, I think that from 7:15 to 8:15, here's the reason. It's usually after dinner. It's too early to put the kids to bed. The parents aren't sitting down watching the 8 o'clock movie. Again, people listening, get out of your head the fact these people don't want to talk to you. You got to remember, they were the ones that initiated the contact by logging onto your site and registering. So these people do really want to talk to you. So let's lose the fear of picking up and fear of rejection. There's no such thing.
Right. So I probably got time for about one more question here, hopefully, Scott. So, well, and this is something that I learned, and I look back and I see when I had my brokerage and our teams, who were the top agents, who sold the most, who did all that. And honestly, it was the agents who did the steps, but also they wanted the accountability. And I know you love accountability, Bob, but I guess the question is, if you're either your own agent on your own team, the team lead, or your agent's on a team and you're a team leader, or those agents listening, how accountable should the agents be to the leads? And being accountable to that, what does that make happen for you?
Well, to me, I am all about accountability because, you look at teams out there, and I don't care if you're paying $500 on pay-per-click or $3,000 a month for pay-per-click. You're paying the bill. You have the right to make sure that the leads are being followed up with. So, Gabe, it really begins in the hiring process on clearly articulating your expectations when you're hiring an agent. Right. And if an agent wants to give you pushback and doesn't want to be following up with the leads, I simply don't want that agent on my team anymore.
Well, it's super expensive to generate these leads, provide the platforms, everything, and all that. But I guess if you're an agent, let's turn the tables a little bit, though. If I'm an agent, we all got in this business to make money. Why should I be open to that accountability? I guess what are they going to gain by being open and learning how to let themselves be held accountable?
Great question, Gabe, and here's the reason. People get into real estate, in my opinion, because they don't fit the corporate mold. You can never be on time for work, and you hate following directions. So the corporate world says, we don't need you. So we get this independent contractor mentality, and we get into real estate. In the U.S., according to NAR, last year, the average agent sold 4.8 homes. Then in my 28 years of doing this, the number one things that agents have said they want is training and accountability. The issue is when you implement the accountability, it's also the one thing you hate the most.
Right.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you are the rainmaker listening to today's call, you are the chief executive officer of a corporation. So let's start acting like a CEO, because in the corporate world, everything is inspected based upon what we expect. So we have to make sure we're a team in this together. And I think most rainmakers make the mistake of not explaining why accountability is important. Because if you're hiring agents to follow up with these leads that you're paying dearly for. You promise an agent on your team only one thing when you bring them on, and that's the opportunity to succeed. They have to put in the effort. They have to learn their scripts, and they've got to convert these leads.
Right. Well, and the opportunity for these agents on these teams that are getting the leads, I think, especially if you're new to this business, I think sometimes agents new in real estate that go straight to a team, I don't think they realize sometimes how hard and how expensive it is to generate there and maintain that. So, this is really an opportunity. So you really need to get the most out of it, work with your team lead. There's really that, you got to have that culture. You're big on culture, I know that, but making sure everybody fits together and working together as a team to get the most out of this. Because, Firepoint, everything's right there. From the tools for the agents to use it, to utilize it, to work as a team, to the rainmakers to be able to hold them accountable, see where the holes are in their business, where they're falling down on follow-up, to the built-in dialer where we can listen to these calls. It doesn't have to be to make sure the agents are making the calls. It's to sit down there and listen to it. Because when you hear yourself on a phone call talking to that lead, how easy is it to find out, man, I just missed an opportunity to set an appointment right there. I mean, you got to utilize these tools to take the business to the next level. Firepoint can't do it for you. You use the tools of Firepoint to do it.
Right. And one of the things we do with our clients is we actually make them videotape their buyer presentation, and they send them to me, okay, and now I analyze them just like an NFL coach would analyze game tape. We're watching it frame by frame and how you say things in your body language and things like that. It is so important, and it's all about practice, Gabe. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great because our agents are making the calls and then they put a task on that lead's profile for us. Say, hey, please come listen to this call. Where could I have gone differently? Or and now they're actually, gosh, I missed the opportunity at this point. I'll never say that again. It's been great where it's all in the system. We don't have to go searching for it. We're not emailing it back and forth. It's just all in the system to listen to that. And the mind shift from the agents it has been incredible because they're able to now hear it and they're seeing the growth that they're getting in that. So
yeah, I totally agree. And I just I know this the Hangout schedule for 30 minutes. I think if I'm you and you're going to be doing these on a regular basis, really encourage everybody that's listening in today, okay, watching in, is to email Gabe, okay, and give him feedback about what you're looking for in these series of Ignite Hangouts. Is 30 minutes too long? Is it too short? What do you think is a viable time? Is 1 hour? What other types of topics? And I'm just glad that I was able to be here with you, Gabe, in your inaugural one. This topic, that we can sit here and we can hang out.
I only made it through 3 of my 8 questions.
Well, you know what? You'll have to bring me back and we'll have to continue it, okay?
Yeah, we can bring you back for part 2.
Yeah, excellent, Gabe.
Sorry,
Excellent.
Scott, we stole all your thunder. You didn't get to do a whole lot of talking.
No, hey, I'm all right with it, guys. You put out some great content. I want to thank both of you for joining us today. Bob, is there a way that people could get a hold of you if they have any questions for you after the Hangout?
Sure, they can email Bob at CorcoranCoaching.com. Bob at CorcoranCoaching.com. That's CORCORAN coaching.com.
Great. And Gabe, how would people be able to get a hold of you if they would like to ask you any questions?
Hey, so a couple ways. If you're already with Firepoint, right there through the menu, you can reach out to us right there through the support and training email, or you can email me direct, gabe@firepoint.net. So, and a lot of you guys are with Firepoint have my number. Reach out to us. We want to make sure we're here all the time. Weekends, we try to get back to you as quickly as possible. So honestly, just let us know how you can help because we want you to be successful with the system. Oh, yeah, I got busted.
That's right.
I like the keyword.
And as Bob mentioned, please share your input with Gabe directly or put your input on the Google Plus page and let us know if you would like these to be longer, if we could cover any topics that you would like to learn about, and if there are any guests that you may want to see. So thank you again for joining us on this Hangout, Bob and Gabe, and everybody that watched. Join us next month on another episode of Ignite, and we'll see you there.
Thanks everyone. Bye-bye.